ringside seat here at the wrestling capital of the world.
Another exciting, star-studded wrestling show.
To a nicer guy, it couldn't happen. The world's heavyweight champion. Wrestling fans, I certainly hope you can be with us in person. If not, we'll see you on the tube.
WWE 2K Battlegrounds presents NXT TakeOver 31.
For the first time ever, NXT comes to you from the incredible Capitol Wrestling Center as NXT gets ready to take over. Welcome, I'm Vic Joseph. Tonight I'll be joined by former five-time Intercontinental Champion Wade Barrett and WWE Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix as yet again NXT will raise the bar. Let's not waste any more time as we are ready for the first of 4 championship matches tonight at NXT TakeOver 31.
Scheduled for one fall is for the NXT North American Championship. Introducing first, from New York City, weighing in at 249 pounds, he is the NXT North American Champion, Damian Priest.
Now, Priest's title reign as North American Champion has highlighted his versatility as a competitor. We've seen him up his game at TakeOver performances, and tonight he will have his hands full facing Johnny Gargano, aka Johnny Takeover Wade.
I have to say, this man, Damian Priest, is the rock star of NXT, and how appropriate is that given our new Capitol Wrestling Center is exactly what you would expect at a rock soundstage. This place is incredible, and what a thrill for me personally to be at my very first NXT TakeOver.
From Cleveland, Ohio, weighing in at 199 pounds, Johnny Gargano!
And Wade, this may be your first NXT TakeOver, but Johnny Gargano has competed in more matches in TakeOver history than any other superstar. Does that give Gargano the edge here tonight?
Well, let's face it, what gives Johnny Gargano an edge tonight is the fact that he is quite simply Mr. Consistency. He never, ever has a bad day at the office, and I'm not expecting one tonight. If Damian Priest is going to retain his North American Championship, he needs to be firing on all cylinders against Johnny Gargano.
And let's not forget it was Damian Priest who won the North American Championship in that 5-way ladder match at NXT TakeOver 30. When Priest and Gargano found themselves atop that ladder, Beth, it was Gargano seemed destined for gold as he unhooked the title, but if you remember, Priest held firm and knocked Johnny Wrestling off the ladder to secure the championship.
Yeah, Gargano's been at Priest's heels ever since, and a little bit of extra gas in the tank tonight, knowing Candice LeRae will be facing Io Shirai for the Women's Championship.
Well, that's correct, and both superstars, that being Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano, very vocal on social media, talking about winning the titles, and I don't necessarily know if this is how it works, Beth, but if they were to win both titles tonight, they would share the titles and become the first ever Grand Slam power couple.
The Garganos could make history tonight, but he's got to get through Damian Priest first.
Here we go, Wade Gargano trying to chop down Damian Priest, but Priest, obvious size advantage and educated feet as well.
Clear size advantage in favor of the champion here, but again, Johnny Gargano is the nimble, is the fast one. He needs to hit and run in this matchup, and it looks like that's how he's starting off.
Well, the southpaw trying to beat down Damian Priest. And of course, Gargano trying to become the first ever two-time North American champion. As Gargano goes up, goes over. This is that speed, that quickness that Gargano has. Ducks a left elbow, comes right back in. Gargano ducks again. Johnny didn't duck the spinning heel kick, though, as Gargano gets rocked early on.
There you go. You can bob and weave all you want, but one strike from a heavyweight like Damian Priest, are you going down? Right to the side of the jaw. Could be a jawbreaker right there in the very opening goings of this one.
You just mentioned one right hand from Damian Priest and Gargano to the mat like a ton of bricks. And, well, right now, Beth, you gotta like the strategy of Damian Priest.
Clubbing badass offense from Damian Priest again. We've seen him up his game at takeovers, but Wade, you said it earlier, consistency is difficult to beat when you're looking at Johnny Takeover.
I agree with you, and that consistency of Johnny Takeover is something to behold, but Damian Priest is someone who's had a similar length of career.
Oh, wait a minute, Gargano trying to apply the Gargano escape. Wait a minute, Priest looking for the reckoning. Gargano escapes for a moment.
As I was saying, length of career, but lately Damian Priest has been shot out of a rocket. His career has really picked up in the last 12 months or so since he came here to NXT.
Damian Priest now trying to control the pace of this matchup. What an elbow under the jaw of Gargano. Champion into the cover to retain, and Gargano's left shoulder comes off the mat. Well, Damian Priest believes he is always in control of any situation, and again, the power coming into display here early on from Damian Priest using his obvious size advantage against Gargano.
This is exactly what Damian Priest needs to do. He needs to slow Gargano down, keep his hands on him, don't let him bounce around the ring, don't let him duck and weave.
There goes Damian.
Stay in complete control.
And Damian Priest now likes to leave his feet for a man that stands 6'7". Priest up top. Oh! Slipped down. Gargano gets caught with a forearm. Priest now trying to enter in, and a kick right to the knee from Gargano. And Gargano sliding through, looking to powerbomb Priest. Gargano had the leverage for a moment. Damian Priest, and crash and burn goes Priest. Hard to the mat. And Wade, you gotta like the offense from Gargano as that sinister smile comes across the challenger's face.
That was smart offense from Gargano, taking the big man off his feet. He came crashing down hard on the outside. That shot to the kidneys there on that landing really knocked the stuffing out of the champion.
Nasty landing indeed. And of course, Johnny Gargano can only win the title, pinfall or submission inside the ring. And Johnny going airborne and right into that fence, that steel step now for Damian Priest. I mean, this is a whole new ball game, certainly a game changer here inside the Capitol Wrestling Center.
There is no way to scout for that kind of offense. There's no way to plan for it if you are Damian Priest. It's just the nous, the intellect of Johnny Gargano, that experience factor of consistently competing at the top level here in takeovers.
Beth, what about this dive here from Johnny Gargano?
Ooh, impact against the steel. And then one more moment here, Priest hitting the steel steps hard.
from Damian Priest, and the champion rocking the challenger back. Back to the striking ability of Priest, Wade, that you brought up early on.
Yeah, as much of a beating as the big man might take, the last thing he's ever going to lose is his punch. That's a heavyweight style of Damian Priest.
Gargano tying up Priest, and now Gargano unleashing lefts after lefts into the champion's jaw. Nowhere for Priest to go. Gargano in with a drop kick right to the chest. Johnny Gargano, who has waited, has dreamed about putting more gold around his waist and adding to his resume from the middle turnbuckle, down across the back. Gargano into the cover for the title, and Priest kicking out at 2.
You have to think the prospect of our first husband and wife NXT champions is getting closer and closer as this match goes on. And look at this unique offense from Johnny Gargano, tying up the big man and keeping him grounded.
And Beth, this is the pace you believe that Johnny Gargano wants in this sort of matchup.
Johnny Gargano not giving Priest any opportunity for reprieve. He's been on top ever since he swayed the momentum in his favor. And you see there again working on that knee to take away the height advantage from Damian Priest.
Center of the ring is Damian Priest going to submit. Remember, Johnny focusing on the knee early on in the matchup for just a moment, but Priest's lower body strength coming in to play yet again. And that's that 6'7" frame weight that is paying dividends thus far for Damian Priest, but Gargano relentless. Right back on top of the champion, as the champion now clubbing away on the challenger, but a stiff kick right to the back of the knee. And now Priest just chucking Gargano.
We see Damian Priest, some lingering pain in that left knee, having some difficulty moving in there as Johnny Gargano once again on the attack, and again back to that left leg.
Back to the lower leg, and again the strength of Damian Priest, and the champion right now trying to get some feeling back into the left leg, which Gargano is focused on.
He's moving so gingerly though, Vic, the damage may already be done to the big man, but look at the eyes of Damian Priest. Perhaps the beast inside is awakening.
Damian Priest answering right back. Priest again with another forearm. Champion starting to build some momentum. Now using kicks to try to chop down Gargano. Gargano swing and a miss. Priest didn't miss. Coming back in. Up and down with a flatliner. Gargano is rocked. The champion feeling it.
Elevated flatliner there from Damian Priest, using all 6'7" of his height and summon. Johnny Gargano now in a world of hurt in the corner.
There's one more looking at Gargano's jaw hitting the mat.
Right now, Damian Priest with Gargano in his sights, again flying in. Johnny Gargano might not know he's at NXT TakeOver 31, as Priest with a challenger again, set up in his sights, third time the charm. Priest now turning around, hooking Gargano, connects with the broken arrow center of the ring. Priest crawls into the cover to retain, and again Johnny just able to get his right shoulder up.
Well, in a flash in this matchup, we have seen the pendulum swing from side to side, and now the champion showing his dominance once again, showing the inner strength that took him to the North American Championship at the previous takeover. Can he finish the job against Johnny Gargano?
Damian Priest looking to put Gargano away, could have looked for the razor's edge. Gargano able to crawl through and almost baiting Priest in with a left elbow. Gargano able to duck again. Priest rolls through. Gargano trying to connect with the kick. Priest had it scouted, and Damian Priest another right hand to the jaw of Gargano. I don't know how many right hands a superstar can take back.
Oh, he's got bigger problems now. Gargano slammed to the mat. Priest looking to follow it up.
What offense from Damian Priest. Gargano hoists it up. Damian Priest looking for the razor's edge. Can he plant Gargano? Gargano able to roll through into the cover. Championship on the line, and Priest able to kick out.
So close, milliseconds in that one. We almost had a new North American champion, and you can just see the caliber of Johnny Gargano right here, as we see Damian Priest going for that razor's edge that we've seen before from him. So well scouted by Johnny Gargano, turning it into his own slam and pinfall attempt.
And both these superstars who know each other so well, and Gargano back to the lower extremities of Damian Priest, and Johnny had a little momentum in this matchup coming in after the mixed tag team victory this past Wednesday, but Johnny Gargano has been in for a fight tonight, and I don't even know if Johnny thinks the Gargano way would help him out early in this matchup, but Wade, right now, Johnny has to regain focus on becoming champion.
it's been a 50-50 back and forth matchup, this one. And you have to say, one of the problems with being the champion here, being the North American champion, it puts a spotlight on you and everybody watches everything you do. That's how Johnny Gargano is able to counter and capitalize.
Gargano answering back with a spinning lariat, another forearm by Priest. Both champion and challenger, center of the ring. And I don't like Gargano's odds when it comes to trying to knock down Damian Priest. Gargano with an enziguri, another kickback by Priest. Both superstars somehow still standing, and Damian Priest, oh, a forearm again! Right hand under the jaw. Gargano is down. Priest now looking around. Priest is feeling it, guys. Damian Priest looking to retain his North American Championship. Kick doesn't connect. Gargano now from behind. Priest shoulder first into the post.
This is the opening Gargano's been looking for.
And Priest goes up and over right here in front of us.
Big man to the outside, luckily for him, on his feet, but it's Gargano.
Damian
Big man,
Priest.
too strong, too proud.
Whoa! Looking for south of heaven. Gargano counters with a short scissor super kick. Gargano now trying to refocus and again gets kicked and taken out. Both superstars on the outside again. Champion's advantage. Only way for Johnny to win the title. Pinfall or submission inside the ring.
This is just instinctive fighting from both men at this point. Strategy out the window. We saw.
Oh, wait a minute,
Gargano
wait,
slugging away.
what is on the mind? Again, of Damian Priest, looking for that razor's edge!
Oh!
Spine first goes Gargano. Could that be the knockout blow for Priest? Damian Priest 3 seconds away from retaining his North American title. Or Gargano. How did Gargano kick out?
We take another look at this. This razor's edge. Gargano landing high on the upper back and shoulders on the corner of the ring apron.
I mean,
I
Ben,
have no idea where he is finding the energy to kick out of that.
taking a look at the Capitol Wrestling Center here, the opening match tonight for NXT TakeOver 31. Beth, what must Johnny's body be feeling right now?
Johnny seems ravaged head to toe, but Priest wearing the wounds of this match. You see him struggling to shake the ring rust out of that left shoulder there, but still on the attack.
Oh, Priest! A little chop block by Gargano. And Johnny again chopping down the champion. And on the mat, you're the same size. As referee in great position, Priest not going to quit that easily. Gargano comes back in, gets caught with a clothesline. But how much damage, Beth, has been done to Damian Priest?
Damian Priest continues. You see him nursing that left knee as well, seeming to be motivated by the pain and retaining the North American Championship.
Johnny now relentless. Kick after kick, focusing on the left arm. Maybe trying to soften up for the Gargano escape again. Johnny trying to get Priest back down to the mat. Priest able to roll through, gets caught with a kick right to the back of the head. Gargano goes in, goes up, goes around, and gets caught. Oh, looking for the reckoning, another counter. Gargano now goes up, standing sliced bread. Center of the ring for Gargano. North American Championship on the line, forearm to the back. Gargano into the cover. Do we have a new champion? And Priest kicks out at 2.
How on earth did Priest kick out of that? Just a barrage of offense coming from Johnny Gargano. Following up with that elbow smash to the back of the neck.
Beth, take a look.
The tremendous impact across the shoulders and back of the neck of Priest, followed up quickly by this hellacious elbow. Gargano, Candice LeRae must be watching in the back and loving every minute of this.
Will the Johnny Gargano way take Johnny to new heights, becoming the first ever two-time North American champion here in NXT? Gargano measuring the champion, now mocking the champion. Super kick didn't connect. Wait a minute. Priest hoists up Gargano. Gargano again rolls through. Shoulders down. Title on the line. Oh, near fall. We almost had a new champion.
Johnny Gargano a little too confident, a little too cocky there. Took his time on capitalizing on Damian Priest. Managed to turn it into a pinfall attempt, such is the caliber of the man, but not quite enough.
The absolutely incredible Capitol Wrestling Center, home of NXT TakeOver 31. Gargano now looking for one final beat, gets caught. Again gets caught by Damian Priest. These two superstars who know each other so very well. Gargano goes up, gets caught. Priest now. Look at the absolute strength of Damian Priest. Looking for south of heaven with authority. challenger kicks out.
Priest unable to get leverage on that lateral press. That left shoulder still bothering him. Take a look at the height right here. Gargano lifted, slammed to the mat, but unfortunately, you see there, Damian Priest still nursing that left shoulder.
I have to agree with Beth on that one. If Damian Priest could have hooked in a tight pin on that one, which he wasn't able to do, I think that would have been match over and a retention for the champ.
Well, again, Damian Priest, who has never been one to shy away from leaving his feet. Priest going all the way to the top rope yet again, looking down on Gargano. Wisely, Gargano able to roll away from Damian Priest, the ring presence of an NXT veteran.
Yeah, you don't have to like it, but that is smart. If you're in trouble, put some distance between you and your opponent.
Whoa, Priest! Oh my God! Damian Priest just wiped out 2 members of our security. Gargano wisely, I believe, was able to pull security into the way of Damian Priest.
Damian Priest closing that distance between the
Wait a minute! Wait a minute, I think there was a low blow. I think Johnny Gargano now with a super kick under the jaw. Priest is out.
Referee distracted.
Priest is out. Title's on the line. Priest kicks out. Wow. I credited Johnny Gargano earlier, Beth, but how did Damian Priest kick out after all that?
Well, that was, first of all, that was absolutely 100% a low blow. I have no idea how Damian Priest found the wherewithal to kick out. Take a look at this high-risk maneuver right here. Priest crashing into security at ringside. Johnny Gargano throwing them in the way and avoiding harm. But this was the critical moment. Nothing, no doubt about
Wait a minute,
that.
back to the live action. Gargano looking for the Gargano escape. Center of the ring. Priest in trouble. Priest realizing it. Trying to reach out. 6'7", using all of his frame. Gargano, though, wisely breaks the hold, steps back in. And now again, Gargano tying up Priest. And again, has the Gargano escape cinched in deep in the middle of the ring. And let's not forget about the knee injury. Forget about the left knee wave, which is being bent by Johnny Gargano.
The disgusting angle at which that knee is currently bent and twisted. All 6'7" of that frame being utilized against Damian Priest.
Priest is trying to get to the bottom rope, fighting with everything he's got, and finally reaches out with his right foot to break the hold.
Damian Priest looks like a sitting duck right now. I don't know that there's anything left in the tank.
Both these superstars laying it all on the line here at NXT TakeOver 31. North American Championship on the line. And look at Gargano, relentless, time after time, repeatedly. Knee right to the shoulder joint, the left shoulder joint of Damian Priest.
Just brutalizing the entire body of the North American champion. This is like a cat playing with a mouse at this point. I think Damian Priest is done.
Whoa. Beth, look at Johnny Gargano's eyes. What is on the mind of the challenger?
Nothing but evil intentions, Vic. This is what we're talking about when we say Gargano way. Always digging deep into the bag of tricks, looking for something sinister. Gargano wants to win the North American title at all costs.
And by any means, as Damian Priest, Gargano charging back in. Oh, Priest fighting with just about everything he has left. To your point, Wade, but what does Priest have left in the tank? The champion trying to hoist up the challenger. Gargano able to counter, another forearm under the jaw of Priest. Champion continuing to get belted by the challenger. Gargano charging in. Big forearm, Priest is rocked.
Ominously beneath Priest is those steel ring steps.
Oh, what a kick by Priest.
Desperation move from Priest.
Absolutely out of desperation, super kick under the jaw. Followed by another. And Gargano to the outside. Looking at Priest, looking for one final beat. Priest able to counter. And Priest, the champion, countering Gargano right into the reckoning. Priest into the cover, hooks the inside leg. Damian Priest retains.
Here is your winner, and still the NXT North American Champion, Damian Priest.
Well, like Michael Jordan in 1989 on Johnny's beloved Cleveland Cavaliers. Damian Priest ends this with his best shot. By ring.
What an absolute incredible way to kick off NXT TakeOver 31.
Nothing short of a physical war between these two individuals. Some of the action in this matchup here was a critical moment. Gargano throwing security in the way of Priest. Crash and burn.
But behind the official's back, the low blow by Johnny Gargano. And I believe we all thought at that point it would be a turning point in the matchup because Johnny Gargano would go on the offensive.
Gargano could smell victory in this moment. Was positive the Gargano way would pay off, but somehow Damian Priest able to kick out.
And then in the end, Beth looking for that one final beat. However, Damian Priest had something else on his mind.
The strength and power of Priest stopping Gargano mid-air and nailing that reckoning to retain the North American Championship here at TakeOver 31.
And Damian Priest has one goal in mind, to carve a legacy so undeniable that his name lives forever. He continues to do that tonight by defeating one of the greatest performers in NXT TakeOver history as Damian Priest continues to hold on to the NXT North American Championship. And guys, this was just the first of 4 championship matches here tonight, because still to come, the NXT Championship will be on the line. There we see challenger Kyle O'Reilly arriving here today with the rest of Undisputed Era. The biggest match in the career tonight, bet to Kyle O'Reilly.
And there's Finn Balor with a great deal of respect for Kyle O'Reilly, but has no intention of letting the NXT Championship slip from his fingers.
Well, coming up next here at NXT TakeOver 31, Kushida taking on Velveteen Dream. Dream has declared he puts on his best performances under the brightest lights. But for Kushida, he is all business here tonight as he gets to take out his greatest rival, Velveteen Dream.
Couldn't be more excited. One of the biggest international stars in the world coming to NXT to compete against the best that we have here.
If I had to predict the year, why Kushida would be.
And there he is, the 6-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champ on the land of the rising sun.
I would say right at the very top.
This is Kushida's time. Kushida wants to match his world skills against anyone willing to oppose him.
I wanna wrestle everybody. It's not easy. Doctor say broken wrist, I will be out 2 months. Different culture, different language. I don't fight for me now. I fight for my family.
This is a critical moment for Kushida. He needs to remind everyone of why Kushida is one of the most feared and respected pro wrestlers in the world.
And is Dream gonna tap out center of the ring? There's nowhere for Dream to go. Oh, but there comes Grimes with the cave-in.
Big change. Mind have to change.
Oh!
Will the real Kushida please stand up?
Velveteen Dream's unhinged.
Because it doesn't matter which Kushida decides to show up.
Wait a minute! Velveteen Dream! Kushida thought he had his takeover opportunity to challenge for the NXT Championship, but Velveteen Dream took out Kushida.
The Dream always puts on his best performances.
These two have the chance to settle their score one-on-one at TakeOver.
Under the brightest spotlights.
Oh! Kushida now with a hold of Velveteen Dream and...
Oh! I have not seen this level of ferocity from Kushida since his days competing in Japan.
全てを爆発させる時が来たんじゃないか。
Oh, man! I've never seen Kushida with this much rage before!
He said that everyone's taken his humility for weakness, and he's done with smiling and waiting for opportunities.
Velveteen Dream, お前を踏み台にさせてもらう。
Kushida's first one-on-one match at a takeover against Velveteen Dream, who historically is spectacular at takeover.
The spotlight will be too bright for you.
行くぜ、テイクオーバー。
Yeah!
Velveteen Dream.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Capitol Hill, Washington, D.C., weighing in at 217 pounds, the Velveteen Dream!
Wade, there's a lot to like, but also question about Velveteen Dream.
You know, I've got to tell you, Velveteen Dream is somebody who, being where we're at today in the Capitol Wrestling Center, he's making me feel nostalgic for the days of Gorgeous George, the original flamboyant, intoxicating superstar. And I think there's a bit of that rubbing off on the Velveteen Dream, just a man you cannot help to watch.
NXT TakeOver is brought to you in part by Credit One Bank. Visit GoCreditOne.com. Life ever rewarded.
And Wade, you mentioned nostalgia. I feel like he's channeling a little Doc Brown tonight as maybe a slight to make fun of Kushida.
Oh, what? And oh, there's Kushida. And
Kushida didn't like the jump.
He certainly did not. And Kushida right on top of Velveteen Dream. And this is that new style, that new sense of aggression that is just bleeding out of Kushida.
Well, Dream made a mistake turning his back to the future, and Kushida's gonna make him pay for it.
Oh, Kushida. What a kick under the jaw, Kushida. Whoa, move.
Come on, guys. Hey,
Dream may be on the run here.
Come on, guys. Keep it in the ring,
Struggling to get his bearings.
Well, Dream just chucking a steel chair into the ring. Dream still favoring the left arm. And whoa!
Referee is struggling to maintain control here.
Oh, and the bell finally ringing. The bell has rung. We are finally underway here at NXT TakeOver 31. And Velveteen Dream right back in. I mean, you can just sense the aggression back from these two superstars.
Well, I think we have Velveteen Dream to thank for the beast that's been unleashed in Kushida. And you see, there's that mad grappling, that quick wrestling style that made Kushida famous all throughout Japan.
And look, Wade, when you talk about Kushida 8-0 in his mixed martial arts career, as he's looking for that armbar early on here, not a superstar you really want to mess with.
He's a vicious, violent man when he wants to be, and in truth, he spoke earlier today about how he felt he was suffocating since moving to the US. There was something about his behavior. It was like he was trying to be on his best behavior, trying to be a nice guy. Well, that's all gone out the window now. The new Kushida is vicious.
Well, to that point, he said tonight, now he's mocking Velveteen Dream. He said tonight he exhales, he breathes, and now Velveteen Dream giving chase to Kushida. Kushida, who's been in control since the jump start, just connected with a kick to the midsection.
Great strategy there from Kushida, baiting Velveteen Dream in.
And Kushida, right back in to Velveteen Dream. And this is Kushida's first ever matchup on a TakeOver. This means the world to Kushida. And Kushida, new all-business attitude, has not taken his foot off the gas tonight.
It's been a long road here for Kushida. He knew better than anyone what he is capable of, and now he has the platform to show the world here at TakeOver.
Look at Kushida, staring a hole in the Velveteen Dream. Triple H described Kushida as one of the biggest international superstars, and Kushida on the biggest stage since arriving in NXT, looking to prove just that, as he has a flurry of offense here, trying to take down Velveteen Dream yet again. But Dream held for a moment, but Kushida grabbing onto the left wrist. Look at the body manipulation. Dream screaming right now.
strategically working on the arm, and take a look at this. Kushida using his body weight to manipulate that left elbow and trap the other arm.
Look at the strain in the shoulders of Velveteen Dream as Kushida just falls back and just continues to wrench on the joints of Dream.
That's a recipe for a rotator cuff tear.
Oh, and Dream, almost out of desperation, Wade, just being able to get back to his feet.
Yeah, well, Dream says that he saves his best performances for the brightest spotlights like TakeOver, and so far, this has been an unmitigated disaster for the Dream.
Hey, guys.
Dream looking to turn things around.
Oh! Velveteen Dream from the top, and Velveteen Dream might have been able to weather the early storm wave of Kushida. Dream, a veteran of NXT TakeOvers.
Perhaps managing to hang in there as we watch this replay of this high-flying offense from the Dream, connecting with the back of the neck of Kushida, stopping that flow of Kushida that has been a frenzy from the beginning of this match.
And it was Velveteen Dream who already took a flammable situation and really dumped gasoline all over it back when he cost Kushida the potential NXT title opportunity in that Gauntlet Eliminator match.
Of course, that's where things all began, Vic, but Dream pleasantly surprised to bring the attention back to him. TakeOver is where Dream believes that he belongs in front of the bright lights. And he'd love to get a victory here tonight at the expense of Kushida.
Oh, what an uppercut from Velveteen Dream. And Dream into the cover, and just a 1 count from Kushida. But back to what we talked about early on with Kushida, Wade, not a superstar you really want to toy or mess around with.
Absolutely not, but it seems to be working for the Dream right now as we take a look back here. Just these brutal, vicious uppercuts from the Dream, and it's almost like a visual oxymoron as you stare at the Velveteen Dream. He looks so ridiculous, especially right now, but then you look at the vicious attacks that he is putting on Kushida here, and you have to say it's impressive. It's a savage beating.
Oh! And Velveteen Dream, Bronco Buster onto Kushida. As Dream barking out to the NXT universe.
A big part of Velveteen Dream's strategy is always the psychological warfare. You take a look at this right here, just drinking it in, enjoying the reactions, good and bad.
Get up! But Dream's got to continue to maintain focus on his opponent, which is Kushida. And now Dream right back in. Kushida gets caught. And Dream, for a moment, thought he had the upper hand. But now Kushida trading blows with Velveteen Dream. Kushida known for that striking ability. Nice counter reversal. Dream goes up, goes over, gets caught in the sleeper. Sleeper holds center of the ring. Velveteen Dream trying to put all his weight into the back of Kushida. And Kushida Wade is fading.
Never forget the technical excellence of the Velveteen Dream, despite all the hoopla that surrounds him. Underneath all that, there is a technically astute athlete, and this could be putting Kushida to sleep.
Velveteen Dream putting all his weight onto Kushida, trying to drain all the energy out of Kushida, but Kushida now trying to feed off the energy of the NXT universe here inside the Capitol Wrestling Center. Kushida back to his feet, trying to break the hold. And again, just Velveteen Dream holding on. 5 count broken. Oh, Kushida, what an elbow. Right to the jaw. Dream answers back, and again, bet these two superstars trading right hands.
Kushida gasping for air, looking to bring that oxygen back in after Dream drove him to the mat, but this is turning into a slugfest.
It certainly has. Kushida taken down Velveteen Dream, and now Kushida, that new vicious side, that all business attitude coming into play. Kushida looking for the hip toss, rolls through, drop kick right into the jaw of Velveteen Dream.
You see that spectacular reaction time from Kushida, so lightning fast.
And Kushida looking for the stop, countered by Dream. Dream rolling through, not able to hold. Right hand by Kushida under the jaw, drops Dream. Kushida methodically now walking right back in, and again, just looking to inflict pain to Velveteen Dream, and one more time with the jointed body manipulation, but now stops right to the back, in between the shoulder blades of Dream.
pulling back at those shoulder joints once again, and that pectoral muscle that Dream seemed to be clawing at earlier in the matchup.
And now Velveteen Dream gets turned over, and Kushida stomping away, stomping out all of his frustrations into Velveteen Dream. And the time splitter just picking apart Velveteen Dream here tonight. Kushida said it was time to show the world the real side of himself. And he would use Velveteen Dream as a stepping stone. Oh no, Beth, take a look at this.
Right on the damage shoulder!
Into the steel post. Much like we saw several weeks ago on NXT, which put Velveteen Dream on the shelf with a hyperextended elbow.
And we're seeing a little bit of deja vu here.
You ask, Kushida trying to deliver.
One more!
And Kushida, wait a minute, look at Velveteen's left. Dream screaming in pain. And Wade, Kushida is delivering everything he said he was going to do tonight.
The last 2 or 3 minutes of this matchup have been one-way traffic. It's turned into a punishment beating.
A super kick by Velveteen Dream catching Kushida. And this is
Velveteen Dream's arm could be broken here, Vic.
Well, if it is, it's certainly time to regroup for Velveteen Dream. Beth, take a look one more time.
This is an opening. Dream was looking for impactful super kick to the jaw. Kushida has not budged. Dream looking to capitalize, but struggling with that damage left arm.
Looking for the purple Rainmaker, got caught. Armbar, cross arm breaker by Kushida. Kushida looking to make Velveteen Dream tap. Dream trying to roll through the pain, roll through the pressure, trying to navigate his way to the bottom rope. And Dream actually able to slither his way free to the outside, but Kushida holding on in right hands repeatedly from Velveteen Dream, and then a thumb to the eye. I believe Dream just poked Kushida right in the eye. Another right hand by Velveteen Dream. Dream hoists up in a power bomb. Dream into the cover. Count.
Whoa! Kushida's!
Reversal into another armbar. Kushida, the submission specialist, looking to make Velveteen Dream tap. Nowhere for Dream to go.
On the fingers of Velveteen Dream.
Dream trying to swing away, break the pressure, and did. And give credit when credit is due to Velveteen Dream.
I mean, what a vicious application of that armbar by Kushida, biting the phalanges of Velveteen Dream.
Both superstars making their way back to their feet as Velveteen Dream hoist up, and Dream Valley Driver, center of the ring, laying out Kushida, and this could be the beginning of the end. Dream said he shines bright under the brightest lights. Dream going to the top rope, looking for that purple Rainmaker. And Dream connects. Velveteen Dream got all that purple Rainmaker, but it happened on the left arm, the injured elbow, and injured shoulder. Wade, Dream couldn't capitalize.
Yeah, there's no point in hitting that high-impact offense if you can't make the cover, and the pain shooting through the arm
Covered
of Velveteen Dream.
Arm draped over. Oh, Kushida!
Just enough time to recover.
You see Dream here going for the purple Rainmaker, but unfortunately on the damaged arm was not able to capitalize in time. Like you said, Wade, that might have been a critical 3 seconds for Kushida.
Yeah, you have to think, Beth, if he could have made that cover quickly, this one was over. The Dream would have won.
Whoa! Kushida able to grab on to Velveteen Dream. And at this point, look at Velveteen Dream. Just looking down at Kushida. What a clothesline! What is left of Kushida?
This has been an absolutely brutal battle. The disdain these two men have for each other is unbelievable.
And Dream looking for the exclamation point. Another purple Rainmaker. All the way to the top goes Velveteen Dream, but Kushida beating Velveteen Dream, and Kushida relentless now, hooking up looking for maybe that hoverboard lock on the top rope. What is Kushida thinking? Kushida, oh my, into the hoverboard lock, off the top rope. The hoverboard lock, cinched in by Kushida. Velveteen Dream, precarious position, nowhere for Dream to go. This Dream gonna tap out. Dream trying to find his way to the bottom rope. Dream trying to reach out. Right foot and all stretching. Able to get there. Kushida able to roll through though. Kushida not letting go. Kushida holding on for everything dear to him to win at his first ever NXT TakeOver.
The submission specialist contorting the elbow and shoulder of Dream.
Whoa, Dream able to counter. Looking for that Dream Valley driver again. Able to counter Kushida for a moment. Oh, Dream connects. Kushida didn't let go. And finally, Velveteen Dream has to tap.
Here is your winner, Kushida!
Wade, how about the tenacity of Kushida?
An impressive display of resilience from the Dream, but Kushida, you're absolutely right, Vic, would not let go of that hold despite the onslaught of offense coming his way, and he gets the victory. Perhaps goes some way to showing the world what the new Kushida is all about.
Well, the light shining brightness on Kushida here tonight. Kushida picking up his first victory bet at an NXT TakeOver.
Well, Kushida's new brand of brutality certainly paying off for him. You see right here him holding on to that elbow, though Dream tried to nail him with it, but he would soon tap out.
And with that tap out, Kushida, who said it was time to exhale, certainly has done that. And maybe it's... Whoa! Kushida, right on top of me, what the heck is this?
It's punishment time. This wasn't about winning or losing. This was about beating your opponent to within an inch of his career.
Kushida right back on to Velveteen Dream, focusing on that left injured arm. Kushida continuing to damage and maul Velveteen Dream. Oh, look at the bending back of the wrist. The manipulation again from Kushida.
That was sickening.
We had an all-business side of Kushida. His words, not mine. But what have we witnessed tonight? And again, Kushida right back on top of Velveteen Dream.
Kushida's unhinged.
And again, blocking in. Wait, another submission.
Just listen to the screams of the Velveteen Dream. The agony coursing through his body now. Kushida knows no bounds.
Just look at the pain on Velveteen Dream. I mean, Wade, what do you make of Kushida?
I was looking at the face of Kushida. I'm not sure he's even satisfied at this point.
Trick or treat.
Join us for the scariest night of the year. Halloween Havoc is back.
Can you believe it? For the first time in 20 years, Halloween Havoc for the first time ever here in NXT. I cannot wait, Beth, for October 28th, but I also can't wait for what we're going to have later here tonight.
Following a disappointing loss for Johnny earlier in the night, Candice LeRae looking to keep focused on keeping her end of the promise to bring home gold to the Gargano family.
Well, in order to do so, She will have to take down the genius of the sky. Io Shirai extremely focused on the NXT Women's Championship matchup. Still to come later tonight, but right now, it's all about the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. For the first time ever, the NXT Cruiserweight Championship is defended on a takeover. Santos Escobar has raised the division, but he takes on the one man that has had his number thus far, Isaiah Swerve Scott.
El Hijo del Fantasma, the new NXT Cruiserweight Champion, culminating his two-decade dream. Oh, it's the two masked men again. Oh my God! Wait a minute!
I am Santos Escobar.
The Cruiserweight division was in desperate need for a leader. Santos Escobar took the NXT Cruiserweight title from the sideshow to the main show. Sometimes you have to tear things down in order to build them back up.
No one can touch me.
Santos Escobar, in case you forgot, I'm the only one that's beaten him in the WWE. That's 2 pinfall victories over you now, but I'm not content. And the reason why is because Santos Escobar is still walking around with that NXT Cruiserweight Championship, and Swerve's not.
Next time you step in the ring with me, I'm gonna be looking at the new Cruiserweight Champion.
Don't make me laugh. Swerve, you're a parasite that I can't get rid of.
Every time when that NXT Cruiserweight title is on the line, there's always something going on. Whether it's Legado Fantasma interfering, or you have a manipulated lucha mask.
All I'm hearing is excusas. The problem is, when it really counts, you can't deliver.
What you call excuses, I'm calling reality. I'm ready to showcase to the world what I'm truly capable of. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna showcase to the world how our NXT Cruiserweight Champion, Santos Escobar, is a fraud.
A takeover? All of your showcasing won't be enough. Because what you call a bag of tricks, I call a century of tradition. And I'm gonna bury you with it.
It is time for the Cruiserweights to take flight here at NXT TakeOver 31.
The following contest scheduled for one fall is for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Introducing the challenger from Tacoma, Washington, weighing in at 201 pounds, Isaiah Swerve Scott.
Best big opportunity tonight for Isaiah Swerve Scott.
Yes, Swerve is so confident coming into this. He's bringing his heart and his soul. You can see that attitude written all over his face. Swerve is also a student of Lucha Libre himself. He's competed under a mask before coming to NXT, and he is ready to take on Santos Escobar. Tonight could be his night.
Always confident. Isaiah Swerve Scott looking to finally put gold around his waist. Well, in order to do so, he's got to take down one of the most dominant champions in Cruiserweight history.
His opponent, representing Legado del Fantasma, he is the NXT Cruiserweight Champion, Santos Escobar.
Wade, no doubt Santos Escobar is building quite the legacy in NXT.
I have to say, I think this man, Santos Escobar, is nothing short of brilliant as he hands off that lucha mask to his boys in Legado del Fantasma, wearing that Cruiserweight Championship with pride. This man is style and elegance personified. I love Santos Escobar.
TakeOver 31 is presented by WWE 2K Battlegrounds. Enter the Battlegrounds with in-your-face, over-the-top multiplayer mayhem and brawl without limits. Available now. And we are set for a brawl between these two superstars on a night when we have been talking about the history of professional wrestling. You think about 205 Live, you think about superstars like Buddy Murphy, Cedric Alexander, Ali, the body of work from the Cruiserweight tournament. These two superstars really have embodied all of those in this Cruiserweight division as of late, and it's all led by one man, Beth, Santos Escobar.
I had the chance to talk to Santos earlier in the day, and he talked about how he carries 100 years of tradition on his back coming into this. Of course, the heritage of Lucha Libre wrestling, and he wants to show why he remains the NXT Cruiserweight champion.
These two superstars locking up, no strangers to one another. Again, Isaiah Swerve Scott owns 2 victories over Santos Escobar, the only superstar to have defeated Escobar since Escobar's arrival here in NXT. And Wade, when we talk about
Santos Escobar will want to put that right tonight.
And Wade, when we talk about Lucha Libre, nice take. Oh, and look at Isaiah Swerve Scott. We talk about Lucha Libre. Santos Escobar says Swerve doesn't respect the tradition. Do you agree?
Yeah, perhaps so. He's called Santos Escobar the champion. He's called him a fraud. That is disrespectful to the man. That is disrespectful to the emperor of Lucha Libre, Santos Escobar.
Take a look at Isaiah Swerve Scott again from behind. Roll through goes the champion, shoulders down, and an early near fall here in this NXT Cruiserweight Championship matchup. Another takedown, another cover, another kick out. Isaiah Swerve Scott now. Same thing on mine that Escobar did, and both superstars with a stalemate. The appreciation from the NXT universe. And oh, what a kick to the midsection by Isaiah Swerve Scott. A little swerve in his own right. Now Escobar jumping forearm, drops the challenger. Escobar charging in, goes up and over. Again, these two superstars, no stranger to one another, and what a moonsault by the challenger. Didn't get all of it, Beth, got enough of it to take Escobar down.
Swerve's Lucha Libre game is strong tonight. I gotta wonder if he is throwing Escobar off. I don't know if he prepared or expected Swerve to bring this tonight.
Well, wait, let's not forget it was Isaiah Swerve Scott who called the champion a fraud. And tonight trying to prove that the champion is nothing more than just that. And another high risk for Isaiah Swerve Scott.
Well, this is effective, but this is a slap in the face to the emperor of Lucha Libre, Santos Escobar, beating him at his own game.
And again, Santos Escobar out the other end because Escobar knows the only way for Swerve to become champion's pinfall submission inside the ring. And up and over again goes the challenger. Throwing caution to the wind. He certainly is getting taught a lesson.
Beautiful high-risk maneuver here. Corkscrew moonsault. Hits hard.
And then following that up, the challenger would go to the air yet again. And a cover back to live action and a kick out by the champion.
And I've got to say, Vic, I think this is actually a mistake from Swerve Scott here, despite the fact that he's in control of this one. Listen, why are you trying to show Escobar that you can beat him in his own game? You've already beaten him previously. Stick to what worked previously. Don't try anything clever. It's working now. Don't think at some point Santos Escobar isn't going to be able to turn this one around.
Well, speaking of turning these around, Isaiah Swerve Scott trying to bend back the elbow. Take a look at the joint manipulation by Isaiah Swerve Scott.
Utilizing part of that ring to his advantage. The referee was in close, giving it a 5 count there. Smartly, Swerve
into the
broke
cover,
in advance.
title on the line, and another kick out by Santos Escobar.
Talk about strategies. There is no way that Santos Escobar expected Swerve Scott to come out with a Lucha Libre high-flying style against him in this one. Caught him by surprise, and we're seeing the effects right now.
He certainly didn't bet Isaiah Swerve Scott. We've seen him go to the air, but now he's going to his ground game.
Swerve has come to the table. He's done his homework. and he is leaving no table unturned in this situation. Swerve, he actually told me later that he was pushing the limits of the 205 weight limit to come into this matchup as heavy as possible while still making weight. To just get
let me jump in. Let me jump in there, Beth. Once again, I think that is a big mistake from Swerve Scott. The reason being he's put on this weight to beat the man he can already beat. Why change it?
Wait a minute.
You change it when you're losing.
And now it's Isaiah Swerve Scott looking for a submission. And Santos Escobar very close to the bottom rope. And Santos Escobar trying everything to reach out and finally does. But Isaiah Swerve Scott holding on for an additional second or two to continue to inflict damage because this rivalry is deeply rooted between these two superstars. And Isaiah Swerve Scott knows tonight could be his last opportunity to become champion. As Scott continuing to focus on the left arm of Santos Escobar. And back to the point you made, Wade, early on. Scott has an unpredictable offense. High flying, stealthy submission, ground game as well. I mean, how hard is it to prepare for an offense like Scott's?
Yeah, if you can figure out your opponent's strategy and game plan, the rest should be easy. The rest should be common sense. The hard part with someone like Swerve Scott, he has such a wide arsenal, you can't figure it out. But perhaps, somehow, some way, right now, Santos Escobar showing his quality, buying himself a little breathing room with that dive. That's what he needed. He hasn't been out of the block so far.
What a dive that was. Escobar into the cover, hook of the leg, and a kick out by the challenger. And well, how about Santos Escobar here? Take a look. Escobar risking it all to put Swerve right into that barricade, which again is unlike anything we've ever seen. It's covered in chain, it's plexiglass. These superstars are inside this arena for the first time here tonight. And what a clothesline by Escobar.
Those cages around the ring, it's effectively, you're inside a steel cage match at this point. And Swerve Scott taking it hard against his back, knocking the stuffing out of it.
At Capitol Wrestling Center, the site of NXT TakeOver 31. We're currently the NXT Cruiserweight Championship on the line for the first time ever. As Santos Escobar looking for the Frankensteiner, got all of it. Escobar rolls through and drops the elbow. Champion to retain his title. Hook of the leg, Scott able to kick out at 2. Well, we talk about changing a game plan up, Wade. We're seeing a few new tricks from the champion tonight.
Yeah, he bided his time. He showed that resilience that he needed to get over that initial storm, and now getting punished is Swerve Scott. Those boots to the throat as the referee once again keeping a very close eye on it.
And the champion slowing the pace of this matchup. And again, it was Santos Escobar who stated that when it matters most, Swerve cannot deliver. Swerve fighting.
Soy el emperador de la lucha libre. Entiéndelo. I'm gonna spit in your face. Do you understand that?
Swerve said he was fighting with a little bit extra tonight. And Swerve to his feet. But now Escobar unleashing rights after rights. Right into the challenger. Nice counter. Nice right hand by Scott. Scott answers back with a second. Goes to the body. Back up to the jaw. And the challenger unleashing on the champion. Frustration boiling out of Isaiah Swerve Scott.
Looking like a middleweight boxer in his prime right there.
What a clothesline. And you can feel the energy here in the Capitol Wrestling Center. Scott in with an uppercut. Takes the champion down. Scott to the middle turnbuckle. Jumping European uppercut to the back.
Swerve Scott managing to get a second win. And once again, Santos Escobar wisely to the outside, putting some space between him and Swerve Scott. He's blindsided though.
Oh, what a kick. But how wise was it, Beth, for the champion?
Champion on the run. We talked about heritage and legacy, but we're also talking about the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Swerve has to stay focused. Get Escobar in there and go for a pinfall.
Certainly does. Only way to win the title tonight. As Swerve back into the ring, rolls in and rolling thunder flatliner. Covered by the challenger. Do we have a new champion? And Escobar just kicking out.
Look at the serene calm etched all over Swerve Scott's face. He knows he has the opportunity to win the Cruiserweight Championship right now. This is exactly the position he wanted to be in. Up top for another high-risk move.
Scott looking for his first taste of gold here in NXT. Looking down on the champion. Scott with a handful of hair, and wait a minute. Now Escobar pulling himself to the top. Oh, going through was the challenger. Oh, nice kick by Escobar. Escobar turning around. Oh, drop kick. And now looking for the DDT. Swerve got all the DDT. Cover. And again, just in the nick of time. Escobar able to kick out, but Beth, Swerve has to remain focused.
Swerve is shocked. I mean, he's saying to himself, you've got to be kidding me, and this is one right here. Going for the huge DDT after Escobar was tangled up, but he was still able to kick out. Swerve just baffled at that.
Isaiah Swerve Scott, already 2 victories over Santos Escobar. Third one could bring him the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Wait a minute! What the heck is... Joaquin Wilde and Escobar as Raul Mendoza on the outside. Numbers advantage. Scott goes up and then gets dropped with a shoulder breaker. Not like this. Champion into the cover. Swerve kicks out. This matchup continues. Legado del Fantasma again the numbers advantage. Swerve Scott said nothing is ever done by the champion without his running mates.
This is the bag of tricks that Swerve Scott referenced earlier in the day. The bag of tricks to Santos Escobar. What else is up his sleeve?
Escobar, oh! Gets draped over the top rope. Swerve with the right hand. Challenger now looking around, realizing he does not have an advantage anymore. Legado del Fantasma. There is your leader! What a move from the top rope. But wait a minute. Escobar to his feet. And there is Ashante the Adonis. What is Ashante doing out here? Evening the odds. Beth, where did he come from?
Sounds like Swerve brought an insurance policy of his own.
Ashante and Isaiah Swerve Scott fighting off Legado del Fantasma. But Scott's got to remember there's a match going on. The referees count. Swerve realizing it. Back to the apron. Back elbow catches the champion. Challenger back into the ring. Isaiah Swerve Scott looking for that rolling thunder. Oh, and he got caught. Super kick under the jaw. Up. And the Phantom Driver. That's got to be all. Cover. Count. No way. No one has ever kicked out of the Phantom Driver. Escobar in disbelief.
What on earth does Escobar have to do to win this match? Nobody in history has kicked out of the Phantom Driver.
We said earlier tonight, Swerve was going to have to go to a place not many men have. Swerve Scott trying to lay it all on the line tonight. Escobar right back in on the challenger. But Escobar has hit Swerve Scott with his best move, the Phantom Driver. What has got to be going through the mind? As the champion suplex. And holding on to it all, Beth, we know what this is.
Oh, the Three Amigos, a call back to Hall of Famer Eddie Guerrero, but I don't think anyone does it quite like Eddie.
And the third
ring out in this audience.
Santos Escobar after the Three Amigos. He talked about the Lucha heritage, that he is the emperor of Lucha Libre. Looking for the top rope. Oh, frog splash did not connect. That certainly was not Eddie Guerrero-esque, Beth.
But here's the moment that Swerve has been waiting for. Moving in for the kill quickly.
Scott back to the submission game. Oh, trying to bend back. The entire left arm of the champion. Isaiah Swerve Scott's got to put his foot on the gas. House call. The house call connects. Scott realizing this is his moment to the top. The 450. Swerve got all of it. Is it a no? Oh, man. You don't get any closer without ring
time ago. Somehow, someway, both men digging deep because the Cruiserweight Championship is on the line. The question is, what do you have left in your playbooks?
This indeed is awesome, as both superstars spilling to the outside. Isaiah Swerve Scott, though, staying right on top of Escobar. Now could be looking for maybe some sort of half and half. Escobar able to counter for a moment. Escobar continuing to fight, holding on it. Oh! That exposed steel of the turnbuckle from early on in the matchup. Isaiah Swerve Scott could be out.
Got a glassy
Santos Escobar,
right now.
he certainly does, Wade. Santos Escobar realizing it. Hooking up the challenger. Double underhook. Oh! Knee right into the face. Covered by the champion. And Escobar retains his Cruiserweight title.
Here's your winner, and still the NXT Cruiserweight Champion, Santos Escobar.
Santos Escobar retaining the Cruiserweight crown here tonight. Take nothing away, though, Ben, from Isaiah Swerve Scott.
Yeah, what a heartbreak for Swerve after that incredible effort throughout this matchup. I mean, let's go back to some moments from earlier on. You see here, Swerve going to get some momentum moving, but Escobar stopping him short and landing this incredible Phantom Driver. We thought this would be it, but Swerve kicking out. The fans in the Capitol Wrestling Center going bananas.
Certainly were. No one would kick out of the Phantom Driver. Scott would hit a picture perfect 450, but would not be able to keep Escobar down for the count of 3. But really, this was the changing moment in the match, Ben.
A precarious position here. Swerve losing his footing, whacking the top of his head there, you see. Perhaps on the side, and that would allow Escobar to get this double underhook improvisation into a face buster, which would be enough to finally put Swerve down for the count.
I didn't see a great shot of it, Big, but I have to say, I think Swerve Scott's caught the back of his head on that turnbuckle tightener, that steel.
Well,
Victorious once again,
the legacy continues to grow for Santos Escobar.
Rated T for Teen.
Culture Head by Corey Taylor from the album CMFT, and NXT Loud theme song for NXT TakeOver 31, available now on Apple Music and Spotify.
And every athlete dreams of that defining moment when all eyes are on them. Kyle O'Reilly's time in the sun is now his opportunity for the NXT Championship.
It certainly is, but the NXT champion, Finn Balor, focusing in on that championship and his title defense tonight in our main event.
And TakeOver 31's been packed with high-stakes action. And speaking of high stakes, a After Johnny Gargano was unable to defeat Priest earlier tonight, Candice LeRae is feeling the pressure to bring home the gold as she meets the dangerous Io Shirai for the NXT Women's Championship.
All these competitors are set for a battle royal to determine who challenges Io Shirai for the NXT Women's title at TakeOver. It's down to Blackheart and LeRae. Oh, wait a minute! And Blackheart's been eliminated! Candice LeRae is going to TakeOver!
Let's rewind. Take a trip back to April. #1 contendership ladder match. And what did Io do? As I was reaching up so close to winning, she clawed my eyes.
Io Shirai's the #1 contender!
But Io, you actually did me a favor because you opened my eyes. It was then and there that I saw I was doing things all wrong. For so long, I was the big sister to every single woman in that locker room.
My sister!
Did I get a thanks? No. Instead, I got taken out again and again and again. You know who I could count on? My husband. We just need to look after each other, because who can we really depend on? We start doing things my way now. The Gargano way. The Gargano way has given me confidence in myself, my abilities. It's helped me realize that I don't need anybody. I have everything I need. And going into TakeOver, I have nothing to lose and everything to gain. That title will be mine.
I am no stranger to stepping in the ring with Candice.
Io Shirai puts Candice LeRae to sleep!
Now, I'm facing a new Candice. I will not lose to someone who takes shortcuts.
I take shortcuts? You did the same thing, didn't you? You know what? Thank you, Io, for showing me that it's time to do things the Gargano way. At TakeOver, I'll thank you again. I will. I will thank you for the NXT Women's Championship.
Since becoming the NXT Women's Champion, I beat the best in NXT. Candice is good, but the Gargano way is not enough to beat Io Shirai.
Well, you see the NXT Universe here in the Capitol Wrestling Center. They are on their feet and amped up for this NXT Women's title match. And Beth, we cannot forget, Candice LeRae and Io Shirai have met before. TakeOver Toronto last August. And Beth, what a difference 14 months can make.
Yeah, Shirai defeated LeRae in a breathtaking match at TakeOver Toronto 2. And the major difference between then and now is that Candice LeRae is now operating under the Gargano way, which basically is the mantra that no one matters except for the Garganos and the gold. And that brings us to this moment. Candice LeRae determined she's the last chance for the Garganos to make that come true and bring it home to the Gargano dinner table.
Oh wait, does that add extra pressure onto the shoulders of Candice LeRae?
No, I don't agree with that at all. I think if you go back to that NXT TakeOver 2, you could see the nerves etched all over the face of Candice LeRae back then. This is very different Candice LeRae. This is a confident Candice LeRae.
superstar who bets on herself. Io Shirai has won her last 2 singles matches here on TakeOver, not to mention winning the NXT Women's title in a triple threat match this past June.
You know, the word Shirai in Japanese means purple thunder, which is a fitting description for Io. A beautiful, powerful, and ominous threat. Make no bones about it, Io Shirai is dangerous, and Candice LeRae is going to find out the hard way why she is the NXT Women's Champion.
And Wade, Io Shirai has defeated Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Rhea Ripley, Dakota Kai, and the list goes on just this year. It's been the year of Io Shirai.
Io Shirai may be the most highly respected female performer in the entire world of sports entertainment, not just here in NXT, but including WWE and everywhere else. She is just superb.
The following contest scheduled for one fall is for the NXT Women's Championship! Introducing the challenger, from Riverside, California, Candice LeRae! Her opponent, from Tokyo, Japan, she is the NXT Women's Champion, Io Shirai!
Poison Pixie, of course, earned this opportunity by winning a Battle Royal. Started fast, Beth, in their last meeting. Do you expect the same or a new strategy from LeRae?
I think LeRae is going to be looking for an opening, just like Johnny did in the first match, where she can dip into that Gargano way. But either way, LeRae has done her homework coming into this, and I expect this to be one hell of a matchup based on their performance at TakeOver Toronto 2.
Right off the bat, LeRae going right into the face of the champion, and we are underway as Shirai hits a round standing switch, able to get around LeRae, and look at the athleticism of Shirai. Nice hit toss, taking down the challenger. Shirai drop kick, really low, caught LeRae on the chin, and LeRae quickly back to the outside to regroup.
Frustration already, but you know, Io Shirai, one of the most gymnastic, acrobatic female performers we've ever seen. She's spectacular.
Io Shirai has never lost, Wade, to Candice LeRae. Could Shirai be a little too confident heading into this matchup?
Well, it has to be said, of late, Io Shirai has been pushed to the limits by the likes of Dakota Kai and Shotzi Blackheart. It's hard to find a weakness in Io Shirai, but perhaps being too confident might be that weakness, and Candice LeRae can capitalize.
LeRae able to sidestep Shirai, and Io into the turnbuckle now. Candice LeRae looking for the monkey flip. Shirai lands on her feet.
Talk about sure-footedness.
And LeRae able to just get out of the way of Io Shirai. And again, we gotta wonder, Beth, Candice LeRae has probably gone back and watched that TakeOver match from a year ago.
Yeah, I gotta be wondering if Shirai's gotten into LeRae's head just a little bit here. If her confidence might be rattled.
Oh, trying to the outside, looking to plant Candice LeRae maybe through the mat on the floor here in the Capitol Wrestling Center. And off the bottom rope, springboard LeRae into the champion, but Candice LeRae again has to get Io Shirai back into the ring. The only way LeRae can finally taste gold, pinfall or submission inside the ring.
Yeah, earning an advantage over Io Shirai is no easy feat. I wouldn't waste it.
Well, speaking of feet, 2 to the face of LeRae, and now a little bit of what you do, I can do better by Io Shirai. Asai moonsault from the middle rope.
Shirai so dangerous with those springboards, balanced like no other.
Io Shirai, who idolizes Rey Mysterio, has been the ace all over the world. She has been the top performer wherever she has been. She has stated all summer into the cover, kick out by LeRae. She has stated all summer, Wade, that NXT is hers.
Oh, she has made it her own. Who can possibly argue with that? Whoever steps in the ring with Io Shirai almost always is defeated, and Candice LeRae needs to change her game plan up pretty quickly here because she's in the receiving end of a beating.
Io Shirai, both feet, and now both knees right into the chest and the shoulders of Candice LeRae. Into the cover goes the champion to retain, and LeRae able to get her shoulder up at 2.5. But Beth, the champion, has been in control of this matchup.
Io Shirai, such an international star, worldly performer. After spending time in Japan training, went to Mexico to hone her skills in Lucha Libre. Shirai is a hybrid performer like no other.
Oh, LeRae able to counter, and LeRae backstabber out of the corner, much like we saw this past Wednesday. And the game has changed as LeRae into the cover, hook of the leg, near fall. But that could be a pivotal point in this matchup, Wade, for the challenger. Take a look at this one more time. Feel the impact. Boom!
Beautiful backstabber. I have to say, I was concerned at the early goings of this match. How much did Johnny Gargano's loss earlier in tonight's show affect Candice LeRae's mentality? Let's not forget, the dream, the plan was that we were going to have husband and wife dual NXT champions. So I think her being slow out of the blocks may have been related to Johnny Gargano's loss earlier, but it seems like she's ridden that early storm and now she's back in control.
That's a heck of a point, but right now, Candice LeRae charging in, going up, going around, head scissor takedown again. Shirai lands on her feet, but this time LeRae follows up with a lariat and quickly into the cover, hooks both legs, title on the line, and the champion again, almost caught by surprise. And Beth, as a former women's champion, you know 3 seconds can come awfully quick.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but if LeRae's going to have a chance in this matchup, she's got to keep that up. She's got to hit hard and hit fast and not give Shirai any room to breathe.
And LeRae just dragging the champion across the middle rope, bending the rules here tonight in the hopes of becoming champion for the first time, and also for the first time being able to beat Io Shirai. Ooh! Nice move by LeRae. LeRae now into another cover and another near fall in this matchup.
Shirai may be exhibiting some signs of an injury to the mouth, the nasal area. Keeps clutching at that, her teeth.
Well, you take a look at Candice LeRae. I mean, Beth, you've heard from Candice LeRae. You've talked to Candice LeRae. LeRae believes she is better now because of the Gargano way. She credits her husband, as we heard already tonight.
Yeah, the Garganos happy to make themselves an island unto their own, and they'll be the first to tell you about it. This new arrogance, it did not pay off for Johnny Gargano, but we'll see if Candice LeRae can benefit from it tonight.
You see the amazing Capitol Wrestling Center as here goes Candice LeRae, another near fall in this NXT Women's Championship matchup. And the NXT Universe trying to rally behind Io Shirai, Wade, and try to get the champion back to her feet, because Candice LeRae, to your point, has been able to switch gears and switch her game plan up.
This is really impressive stuff from Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae has turned into more of Candice Gargano these days.
Backbreaker cover, hook of the leg, and another near fall.
Once again goes for that pinfall attack. Now, traditionally, Candice LeRae's life has always been about this morality play. She's always been focused on the good side, but we saw what she did to her former best friend Tegan Nox's knee recently. Clearly, that's out the window now. It's all about victory at all costs.
And if Candice LeRae is willing to do that to someone she considered almost a sister, we can only imagine what lengths she will go to call herself champion. As LeRae charging in on Io Shirai.
LeRae's got to watch out for that pageantry and being overconfident in this situation. This is about the NXT Women's Championship.
On the poison, Pixie talking a little bit of trash. To your point, Beth, has to keep on top of Io Shirai. Shirai can change things so quickly, as we've seen the champion do in the past. But right now, the challenger is in control. And again, head first goes Io Shirai. Candice LeRae right back on top of Io Shirai. And Beth, this is a much different Candice LeRae in this matchup than we saw in Toronto.
Well, we saw earlier on today in this matchup, Candice LeRae coming out of the box, trying to go toe-to-toe with Io Shirai in a wrestling match, and it didn't go well for her. The aggression, the punching, the kicking, the meat chopping, that's the direction she's got to go to keep her advantage.
And LeRae just tossing Shirai. And Candice LeRae has been very methodical in her offense here tonight. And again, just showing her dominance over Io Shirai in this championship matchup. And now Candice LeRae, front face lock, looking for the suplex, and LeRae connects into the cover for the championship, and another near fall. And again, LeRae into the cover, hooks the leg again, and Io Shirai able to kick out.
There's that temper showing, that petulant child. I know that look well.
LeRae needing to stay focused, Wade, on the task at hand, and that is to continue to physically dissect Io Shirai.
Yeah, let me tell you what's impressed me most about this performance from Candice LeRae. She's completely dictated the pace. She's completely in control. She hasn't even broken sweat. She's not breathing heavy. This is just pure dominance from LeRae.
LeRae back to the midsection, and now Candice LeRae charging in. No one there! And Io Shirai trying to get some breath back. Oh! Stepping up, looking for that senton. No one home. Shirai goes in, rolls through, double stop to the midsection. And for Io Shirai, this is the opportunity the champion Beth has been waiting for to regroup and refocus.
Spectacular quick movement. Damage done to LeRae's ribs, which means bad news if Shirai should get up and hit that moonsault.
NXT Universe getting loud inside the Capitol Wrestling Center. Shirai and LeRae back to the feet. Champion taking down LeRae. A second shoulder tackle. Champion finally finding a little offensive groove in a flapjack center of the ring. LeRae now doesn't really know where she's at. As Shirai going up and around. 619 connects. Io Shirai taking a look at her challenger, Candice LeRae. Shirai, the genius of the sky, looking to fly possibly. Taking a little extra time and beautiful missile drop kick. Shirai got all of the missile drop kick into the cover. And another near fall, and LeRae, you can see, doesn't quite know where she's at, but look at this drop kick.
Shirai with complete precision.
Bam!
Impact to the collarbone sends LeRae head over heels.
And now, Io Shirai looking to put maybe the finishing touches on this matchup. LeRae able to counter, another roll through this time, blocked and then dropped. Face first goes the champion, and the senton connects to the lower back for Candice LeRae. And LeRae, springboard, oh! Got caught in the midsection, did LeRae, by the right foot from Io Shirai. And Shirai
once again to the ribs of Candice LeRae.
Tried double underhook, hoisting up the challenger into a backbreaker. Then he down to the lower back of LeRae. And now Io Shirai walking over her challenger tonight. And the genius in the sky to the top rope. Candice LeRae quickly able to block. Able to intercept and then powerbomb. Io Shirai, wait a minute. Shirai, double knees, Meteora.
That fighting spirit from Io Shirai, fighting through the pain.
Fighting through the pain indeed. And now, hoisting up LeRae. LeRae this time rolls through, center of the ring, near fall. Io Shirai, oh, open palm thrust. Rocking the challenger, German suplex. Folding up, Candice LeRae, and LeRae with a snap German. Where are these women getting this adrenaline from? Another backstabber. LeRae, titles on the line. Is Candice LeRae closing in on becoming the NXT Women's Champion? Cover, count, kick out by Shirai. You gotta be kidding me.
Shirai barely able to get that shoulder up. Take a look at this agility from Candice LeRae. Spectacular. Across the midsection, she thought she had Shirai beat, but at the very last second, Shirai able to get that shoulder up.
Shirai showing you, Wade, the heart of a champion.
Both ladies dropping their heavy artillery at this point. Shirai showing exactly why she is the person to beat in this division, but Candice LeRae has matched her move for move so far in this one.
Oh, crossface, center of the ring. Shirai with the crossface cinched in on the Poison Pixie. Is LeRae gonna tap? Candice LeRae, her champion championship dreams could be slipping through her hands here tonight. And LeRae able to roll through, shoulders down, and having to relinquish the hold. And now it's Candice LeRae transitioning in to the Gargano escape. And is it LeRae Beth that's going to be able to tap out the champion?
LeRae pulling with everything she's got. She's got to get those heels under her to get leverage. Shirai struggling to get toward the ropes, but unable to reach out. LeRae leading her weight on Shirai, trying to crank on that neck to get her to tap out.
And look at the left foot of Candice LeRae, able to keep Io Shirai away from the bottom rope. Candice LeRae, what ring presence to keep Io away as Shirai starting to fade. Again, the NXT Women's title's on the line. Desperation on the face of the challenger. So close to making the champion tap out, but Io Shirai getting to the bottom rope. And Candice not letting, oh no! Oh no! LeRae inadvertently hitting the official. Wow! And wait a minute, Shirai with the air raid crash. Io Shirai now. I don't know if Io realizes that the referee, well, but nonetheless, Shirai climbing to the top rope. And the NXT Women's Champion. Oh, both feet. Again, Wade. The official got hit.
Yeah, I think that's done him for good. He got an elbow to the jaw from Candice LeRae, then a flying Io Shirai to the side of the neck. He's out.
A kick to the face, and now submission again by Candice LeRae. And the wicked stepsister connects. There is no referee. Bet there is no official.
Shirai is out.
Candice LeRae has it.
Wait a second.
That's her husband, Johnny Gargano. And oh, Io kicked out.
I'm not sure putting a referee's shirt on qualifies you to be a referee in NXT.
I'd have to tend to agree with you, Wade.
You're 100% right, Wade. Candice LeRae is beside herself.
Oh, wait a minute, what's Johnny thinking?
Give me this, it's hers. It's hers.
The Gargano, I mean, this can't be the Gargano way. What is it going to take to keep down Io Shirai?
Shirai still had the wherewithal to kick out, but LeRae looking to climb high risk.
Another open palm strike under the jaw. LeRae getting rocked. What is on the mind of Io Shirai? Spanish fly from the top. Shirai, no wasted motion. Back to the top. Over the moonsault. Shirai got all of it. Cover. Count. Shirai retains her title.
Here is your winner, and still the NXT Women's Champion, Io Shirai.
Io Shirai continues to show that there is no doubt, Wade, the NXT Women's Division belongs to her.
Well, this matchup broke down into a complete omni-shambles after some grade A skullduggery from the Garganos, but somehow, some way, Io Shirai coming out with the Spanish fly and the moonsault to retain the Women's Championship. What a performance.
Absolutely amazing performance from our champion. Let's go back to some of the action, Beth, in this matchup.
Phenomenal performance from both of these women. Here you see Io Shirai going up for the moonsault.
sister, but there was no official. The official had been taken out until her husband, Johnny Gargano, entered the ring, but not even Johnny could count a 3.
You see this spectacular moment, Io Shirai getting the best of Candice LeRae, despite the attempt by Johnny Gargano to get Candice LeRae the championship, and Io Shirai able to pin LeRae and walk out the NXT Women's Champion.
No doubt number 1 as the reign of Io Shirai continues in the women's division here in NXT.
Hey, Io-chan. Hey, it's good to see you. Hey, look, don't mind me. I just wanted to congratulate you on what an impressive victory that was. What a match. Oh, I also wanted to make sure that you and everyone else around here is keeping their head on a swivel, because as of right now, Toni Storm is back in NXT. And you know, it goes without saying that I'll be turning this place upside down and inside out, and I will be showing the NXT universe that it is indeed, always has and always will be Toni time. I'll see you around.
Toni Storm is coming to NXT.
Shanti Adonis, earlier tonight, you interfered in the NXT Cruiserweight Championship match. Why did you do so?
Mackenzie. I'm sorry, I'm all hyped up right now. But it's quite simple. I got a lot of respect for Swerve, and I'm just trying to help a brother out. But I am sick and tired of seeing Legado jump guys. So I decided to take that opportunity and beat them faster than Amazon delivery. But enough about them, because it's all about me. You see my swag on 1,000, and I be coming to that ring dripping. This is my ritual, RICHUAL. Because when the money speaks, nobody checks the grammar. And I'll hit him with the hammer. It's 205 from the 215. You know what time it is. It's showtime.
Well, what a night it has been at NXT TakeOver 31, and it all comes down to this. The NXT Championship on the line. The biggest match in the life of Kyle O'Reilly. The first title defense for Finn Balor, and it's the Prince who's looking to show that NXT is his.
Life comes full circle in this business, and while some fall on prey,
the Prince rises to the occasion.
My name is Finn Balor, and I'm here at NXT because I am the future.
Can he somehow pull off his own miracle in Tokyo? Coup de grace! Finn Balor is NXT champion!
A man who reigned for 292 days as the NXT champion. The first WWE Universal Champion, the Prince, Finn Balor.
As of now, Finn Balor is NXT.
I made the brand, and now the brand needs me.
The third man to ever hold the NXT Championship more than once. Finn Balor, the Prince, has taken over his kingdom once again.
Finn Balor being champion makes this the most important title in the game. So now it's time for people to start fighting to face the champion. So form a queue, because the line starts here.
This is a huge opportunity for Kyle O'Reilly. It's a big deal for the Undisputed Era. It's a big deal for NXT because NXT is never going to be the same again once Kyle O'Reilly is playing the sweet, sweet goal.
Kyle O'Reilly is going to take over!
You are a face in who I've said for a long time may be the best kept secret, not just in NXT, but in the world of wrestling altogether.
I know how good Kyle is. Kyle's proven himself as a tag team competitor here in NXT. But more importantly, you've proven yourself all over the world as a singles competitor.
Is the ambassador of Kingacida.
Why do I wrestle? Because this is what I was born to do.
Nobody has earned an NXT title shot more. On Sunday at TakeOver, Kyle is going to shock the world.
I think of every single moment and match and opportunity and country I've wrestled in for the last 15 years, and it has all been building up to this Sunday at TakeOver 31.
Mr. Photographer, ready for my close-up.
Kyle O'Reilly, don't get me wrong. You have a great underdog story. 99 times out of 100, I believe as TakeOver goes off the air, it would be you holding the title. But Finn Balor is that one time you don't.
Kyle O'Reilly will challenge Finn Balor for the NXT title at TakeOver.
Next champ, baby. Woo. Next champ. It's your time. Your time, grab Kyle. His ankle and don't let go. It's you, baby. Your time, baby. Get it done. Get it done. Love you. All right, it's your night. Okay. Go get him. Go get him. Finish from him.
This is what we have been waiting for. The NXT Championship. And Wade, Finn Balor said this past Wednesday, there's a big difference between the main event for one night and a main event that is life-altering. You main evented matches against the likes of John Cena, Randy Orton, and Edge. Do you agree with the Prince?
I have to agree with the Prince on this one. This moment will change the trajectory of Kyle O'Reilly's career and indeed his life. As you mentioned, when I look back at my own career, a very similar thing happened to me in 2010. I was shot out of a cannon as a complete unknown. I ended up main eventing the likes of SummerSlam, Survivor Series. Life can never return to normal after an experience like that. You're recognized everywhere. Your colleagues recognize the achievement you have had, and you never get put back in that box ever again. A large part of the reason I'm even on this broadcast booth today is because of what happened to me in 2010. And there could be a similar effect to Kyle O'Reilly over the next 10 years plus, thanks to this matchup.
comes the Prince. And Wade, you and I talked earlier, Beth, you and I talked earlier tonight. Wade, I want you to go first. Wade, you predicted Finn Balor wins tonight.
Absolutely right, and that is not a knock on Kyle O'Reilly. Let me make that clear. I can see just how good Kyle O'Reilly is. Anyone with a pair of eyeballs can see that. The difference is, I've not just seen how good Finn Balor is, I've been in the ring with him and I felt how good Finn Balor is. I've had the life stomped out of me with that coup de grace. And given that this is a proven quantity in the champ Finn versus a lesser-known quantity in O'Reilly, I just have to lean with Finn Balor on this occasion. But I will say it is very, very close.
You know, Wade, taking nothing away from the spectacular singles career of Finn Balor, everything he's done to be a part of building NXT. But I gotta tell you, Kyle O'Reilly on this night, he's been the consummate team player, ready to go for Undisputed Era. Every single time he's showed up and done what he's had to do to get things done. And on this night, he is the best he's ever looked physically, and he has the emotional support of his brotherhood behind him. Tonight, I am picking Kyle O'Reilly to be the new NXT champion.
A first-time ever matchup for the NXT Championship here at NXT TakeOver 31. Balor, the most wins in TakeOver history, looking for lucky 13 tonight. Kyle O'Reilly, his first singles match on a TakeOver, and O'Reilly, talking to him earlier, knows he hasn't won a TakeOver since NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4. But Kyle O'Reilly focused tonight on silencing the doubters.
The following contest scheduled for one fall is for the NXT Championship! Introducing the challenger, representing the Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly! His opponent, from Bray, County Wicklow, Ireland, he is the NXT Champion, Finn Balor!
I had the opportunity to talk to Finn Balor earlier tonight when it comes to takeovers. He wanted to remind me that since returning to NXT, he hasn't lost in a takeover. 5-match winning streak, and tonight it's all about the NXT Championship. O'Reilly, Balor have not taken their eyes off one another. And I want to go back real quick, Wade, as we are here inside the Capitol Wrestling Center, which was first reported earlier today by Sports Illustrated. Here we go, main event time, NXT TakeOver 31, O'Reilly Balor. And we went back to this past Wednesday, Wade, Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly getting into an argument about 5 years. Balor having competed for 20, Kyle O'Reilly for 15, and Kyle O'Reilly said, what does those 5 years make? What's the difference? Think about what Balor has accomplished in those 5 years. Universal title, Intercontinental title, WrestleMania, returning here to NXT and becoming a 2-time NXT champion.
Go around the world and anywhere Finn Balor has been in his 20-year career, he has dominated in singles competition. You can say great things about Kyle O'Reilly too, but he hasn't dominated in singles competition right here in NXT yet.
With these superstars going to the mat early on, and Beth, would that be the advantage to Kyle O'Reilly?
I would say, you know, Kyle O'Reilly's so proficient in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I mean, and you look at the speed at which both of these men move. It would be to Balor's advantage to get O'Reilly slowed down early on because, I mean, I've never seen O'Reilly this focused coming into a matchup.
And of course, Beth, you picked Kyle O'Reilly to win this matchup. You know, Finn Balor doesn't know Kyle's style, but Kyle's closest friend, Adam Cole, has been in the ring with Finn Balor. You can't replicate film, but you can imagine that Adam Cole has given just about every trick to Kyle O'Reilly heading into this matchup.
Undisputed Era's thick as thieves. You better believe they're giving each other the answers to the test. And I'm sure Adam Cole has been coaching O'Reilly on the best strategy coming into this.
A feeling out process between these two superstars. Balor, who stated he built NXT, now NXT needs him in the wrestling world, always watches the Prince. Balor called as he goes into the cover. Quick count of just one, and Balor right back on top of his challenger, as Balor has stated that he is NXT champion. That makes the NXT title, Wade, the most important title in the game.
Of course it is. It is the big one here in NXT. It's why it's the main event. But it's funny you should bring up earlier this week the face-to-face interview with HBK between these two superstars. I saw
Shoulders down for a moment.
Finn was cold and all business, as you would expect.
Ooh! Nice belly to back suplex, but Balor, Wade, holding on to the side headlock. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Absolutely, but Kyle O'Reilly in that interview, he was charismatic, entertaining. He was the Joker. He was sending a signal to Finn Balor that despite Finn Balor's accomplishments, he's not going to take a back seat to him. He's not intimidated by him. Kyle is proving out here tonight that he is deserving of this opportunity, and he wants to win badly.
O'Reilly trying to silence the doubters here tonight, those that question if he can break out as a singles competitor, those like his opponent Finn Balor that doubt he can beat Balor, and believes, as Kyle O'Reilly, he is not the underdog. No matter what Balor's resume is, as Balor goes up, goes over, looking to take O'Reilly down. O'Reilly trying to turn it over into a cross arm breaker, and quickly Balor able to get to the bottom rope.
You saw that quick motion into that submission. You know, Kyle O'Reilly has a lot of personality. Oftentimes the jokester of Undisputed Era, but what he is in the ring is a dangerous competitor, proficient at joint manipulation.
I'm talking about joint manipulation, Beth. Kyle O'Reilly now has found a body part on Finn Balor and is trying to exploit the left elbow and shoulder of the NXT champion. Right now, O'Reilly just trying to grind down Balor. Balor doing his best, Wayne, and trying to maybe take down Kyle O'Reilly, trying to pick the right leg, but Kyle O'Reilly standing strong.
Yeah, I have to say, if it comes to a grappling game between these two, the advantage is definitely with Kyle O'Reilly, given his BJJ experience.
And again, Balor trying to take down O'Reilly, but O'Reilly able to sidestep and counter Finn Balor. And again, the early chess match, early on in this match between champion and challenger.
See the way O'Reilly has his left knee planted firmly in the sternum of Balor, allowing him to manipulate that wrist.
Oh, hammerlock by Kyle O'Reilly, turning it around. Nice takedown of Balor. Finn Balor left shoulder going right into the mat. And you can see the pain on Balor's face. And Kyle O'Reilly quickly following up with pinpoint precision with his knee. And now elbows right to the ribs. And look at the transition by O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly sticking to his game plan that has made him the only three-time NXT Tag Team Champion.
Driving those sharp knees into the midsection of Finn Balor, sucking the wind out of him very early in this matchup. This is the kind of matchup you don't want to make a mistake early on, because both of these competitors are only too eager to capitalize on the first slip.
And you can hear the NXT universe here inside the Capitol Wrestling Center as Balor trying to counter early on here, and again, Kyle O'Reilly staying on top of the Prince.
Yeah, hats off to Kyle O'Reilly. No sign of nerves, as we mentioned earlier, and he's not being crushed by the weight of expectation on his shoulders in his first singles main event here at NXT.
WWE Hall of Famer Beth Shawn Michaels said Kyle O'Reilly is no secret. Finn Balor himself admitted O'Reilly is not a secret, and O'Reilly has established himself all over the world as Balor able to break the hold, and Kyle O'Reilly trying to prove he is not a secret.
Well, in the early minutes of this matchup, you know, Finn Balor's been on the defensive for most of the time in here.
Ooh. And another takedown by Kyle O'Reilly, and O'Reilly staying right on top of Finn Balor. Beth, to your point, it is Kyle O'Reilly who's been able to control Balor in the early stages of this matchup, but again, going for another reversal, up and over, Balor. And drop kick right between the eyes of Kyle O'Reilly. And Wade, you said it, you can't win the match maybe early on, but you certainly can lose it by making a mistake.
As we take another look at this drop kick right between the eyes of Kyle O'Reilly, crushing, buying Finn Balor a little bit of space. You can see him grasping that left arm there, showing some after effects.
Balor into the cover, and a kick out by Kyle O'Reilly, and Finn Balor now with the upper hand in this matchup. A slow, methodical pace. Wade would favor who?
You have to say both men are absolutely on top of their condition. Now, I would think, in theory, a slow, methodical pace would actually favor the challenger here tonight, being that he is the expert in BJJ. But right now, we see the ground game of Finn Balor, and he is on top of this one.
He certainly is in a submission in his own right, and now mocking Kyle O'Reilly, playing a little air guitar, and again, just bending back the left arm, and you can really see the strain in that left shoulder joint of Kyle O'Reilly as Balor stomping down. A little taste of his own medicine for Kyle O'Reilly as the champion, like a caged animal, pacing the ring and focusing now, trying to get a hammerlock, and finally getting the hammerlock down out of the mat is Finn Balor, who now has control of the challenge.
Yeah, this might be a mind game from Finn Balor here. We go on and on about the BJJ experience of Kyle O'Reilly, but this perhaps is Finn Balor saying to Kyle O'Reilly, hey, give me a best shot, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to be better than you at your own game. Put this in Kyle O'Reilly's head this early, and Kyle O'Reilly might begin to question, how on earth do I beat Finn Balor?
Finn Balor continuing to wrench away on the shoulder of Kyle O'Reilly, and O'Reilly now trying to figure out the best way to get out of this hold back, trying anything he can to navigate his way back to his feet.
O'Reilly very proficient and defensive as well, but this pace, this matchup, this is when Finn Balor is at his most dangerous. We see this a lot in TakeOver matches. This is the pace in which Balor is in control.
Oh, what an elbow by Finn Balor. Oh!
Back him up. Come on.
And Balor now pulling away. And bending, but not breaking the rules all the way. Finn Balor, I mean, this is a championship matchup for the Prince. Yep. Balor in for a battle tonight. And Kyle O'Reilly has wanted to test himself against Finn Balor his entire career. Certainly, Beth, in for a test here tonight in the main event of NXT TakeOver 31.
You know, Kyle O'Reilly is a road warrior. He's been up and down the highways traveled. He knows what it's like to claw your way for an opportunity in a moment like this, and he has no intentions of wasting it.
Balor following up with a chop across the chest of Kyle O'Reilly. And this is what we have seen from Balor in the past. As Balor, for a second time, measuring the challenger, and another chop across the chest. And Finn Balor has been in control of Kyle O'Reilly over the last few moments. And Balor now setting O'Reilly up, charging back in. Oh, knee to the midsection, turning Balor inside out.
Look at Kyle O'Reilly. I can tell by his body language that he feels like he's walking around with a bag of bricks on his back right now.
Balor coming in, getting Cole, what a kick to the chest. O'Reilly trying to follow up now. Strong knees to the chest as well of Finn Balor. Kick to the back of the knee, what a strike. And look at the flurry of offense by the challenger. Nice takedown, and O'Reilly just like that, back in control of this championship matchup.
Beautiful Muay Thai strikes. We talked earlier about how the Undisputed Era would have been helping train Kyle O'Reilly. Of course, we know that Bobby Fish is an expert in the field of Muay Thai, and a bit of that has rubbed off on Kyle O'Reilly.
O'Reilly now charging in. O'Reilly forearm under the jaw. Kyle O'Reilly transitioning himself right back to that left elbow, trying to hyperextend. Balor with a forearm, knee back to the midsection. Balor double underhook. Oh, or gets caught. Excuse me, does Balor. Another double underhook suplex. Kyle O'Reilly with a DDT as well, out of the double underhook. And O'Reilly covered. And Balor able to kick out at 2. How about that, Beth, for a flurry of offense?
Phenomenal movement, and O'Reilly on a roll here. I mean, you see those kicks, it really rocked Finn Balor. Getting kicked by Kyle O'Reilly is a little bit like getting hit by a baseball bat. You see Balor feeling it and struggling still from the beginning of this matchup, grasping at that wrist.
Kyle O'Reilly could have been looking for possibly a regal plex. Instead, Balor able to counter. Balor now firing back. And now O'Reilly answering back with a strong kick, buckling the left knee and right knee of Finn Balor. And again, strong knees and strikes by O'Reilly, lighting up the champion. These two superstars, you see the chest of Kyle O'Reilly turning a bright red from those chops and knees that have connected into the chest of Finn Balor. Both superstars slugging it out, and for Kyle O'Reilly, it's about 15 years of sacrifice, but what a kick to the midsection. Talk about buckling the knees.
Completely knocking the stuffing out of Kyle O'Reilly. Referee getting in close here, seeing if he can even continue. Hopefully just winded.
And Balor right back on top and going right to the midsection. And the referee stepping in, Wade, to your point.
Yeah, I've seen heavyweight boxers lose to punches to the midsection before. They've effectively been killed.
And Balor relentless, back on top of Kyle O'Reilly. And once again, the official backing off the champion.
O'Reilly looks hurt.
And Beth, Kyle O'Reilly has not looked the same since that spinning kick right into the midsection, maybe knocking the air, taking the win from O'Reilly.
Yeah, I gotta wonder, guys, if he didn't take, you know, the positioning of that kick looked like it might have been to the liver, which is a devastating move, sends a competitor straight to the ground.
Oh, chest first goes Kyle O'Reilly, and again the official checking on the challenger. Wade, I want to ask you what your thoughts on what Beth just said, because here's that kick one more time. Take a look at the location of that right foot.
I think Beth has just hit the nail on the head with that being a liver shot. Whenever they talk about it in heavyweight boxing and a competitor in a boxing match goes down from a body shot and does not get back up, it is from a liver shot. A strike to the liver is completely debilitating, excuse me, and I think that is exactly what Finn Balor managed to do to Kyle O'Reilly right there.
And again, Balor focusing in on that midsection. And again, Kyle O'Reilly has gone down. Balor standing tall here at NXT TakeOver 31.
Well, hats off to Kyle O'Reilly. He's telling the referee he wants to continue. I don't think he physically can. That is the point. The mind is saying yes, but the body is saying no for Kyle O'Reilly.
But wait, this is the biggest moment in the life and the career of Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly is not going to quit as Finn Balor with another submission on Kyle O'Reilly, almost a version of the camel clutch.
I admire the willpower of Kyle O'Reilly, but sometimes these can be toxic levels of willpower. Sometimes the mind is so strong against the body, and that is not always a good thing. You have to think about the rest of your life
Balor
and
into
the
the
rest of your
cover,
career.
hooks the leg, title on the line, and O'Reilly's right shoulder up off the mat.
Let me put it this way, speaking in boxing terms once again, if Kyle O'Reilly had a corner man, the towel would have been thrown in at this point. He can barely defend himself.
NXT Universe coming to their feet as we take one more look. Bam! More abuse to the midsection. And again, to Beth's point, possibly to the liver. Because back to the original kick that we saw early in the matchup. And pinpoint precision by Finn Balor. Kyle O'Reilly has not been the same. And now it's Finn Balor looking for an abdominal stretch. Center of the ring. And Balor has O'Reilly locked in. O'Reilly, nice hip toss to counter and break the hold.
Yeah, going back to that original kick from Balor to O'Reilly's midsection, the liver shot as we're calling it now, you just see it was a delayed reaction. O'Reilly tried to immediately come out with a punch, but his body just crumbled.
Well, a strike to the liver activates the nerves.
Oh, jumping knee by O'Reilly. O'Reilly locking in, Regalplex, shoulders down, title on the line. Balor able to kick out at 2. But where is Kyle O'Reilly getting this will from?
Yeah, somehow Kyle O'Reilly managed a steep bridge on that one. I don't know how he ever got up that high. But back to the liver he goes again. It's clearly causing him a massive amount of trouble despite that brief flurry.
Could be a liver, could be a rib, but nonetheless, the kick just moments ago in this matchup has changed the complexion of this matchup for the challenger Kyle O'Reilly, who now has to dig down deep and block out the pain as O'Reilly back to his feet. Again, looking to hyperextend, but right to the back. Balor now hoisting up and dropping center of the ring. Cover, count, and O'Reilly able to kick out.
Softening the liver up, you have to question what on earth is going to happen if the Prince Finn Balor manages to hit that coup de grace.
That surge, but guys, think about what we just saw. Finn Balor with that elbow again into the midsection of Kyle O'Reilly. There is a target on the body of O'Reilly. Balor trying to exploit it. Champion charging in. Sling blade connects. And we have seen this in the past, Beth. Finn Balor lining up O'Reilly. Come on.
Finn Balor smelling victory, targeting Kyle O'Reilly. struggling to get to his feet.
Target set. Oh, and a drop kick to the left knee of Finn Balor. Kyle O'Reilly, presence of mind to unleash that drop kick into the lower extremities of our champion.
Let's check this out one more time. O'Reilly able to get to the knees and knock Balor's attempt.
Oh wait, O'Reilly's been trying to hyperextend the left elbow of Finn Balor. Could be trying to hyperextend the left knee instead. And O'Reilly got caught into that abdominal stretch, center of the ring. The pain, and look at the blood in the mouth of Kyle O'Reilly. You must be imagining what's going through the body as now looking for maybe that 1916 counter to drop, knee first, and now Kyle O'Reilly trying to apply the submission, trying to take down the champion Wade and focusing on the left knee.
Absolutely, you have to think that bleeding from the mouth of Kyle O'Reilly, highly concerning, even though he's on top right now. That could be internal
Balor
bleeding.
trying to counter. Balor looking for the sharpshooter. Sharpshooter, center of the ring. The pain shooting through the body of Kyle O'Reilly. As O'Reilly trying to reach out back to that bottom rope.
O'Reilly struggling with every cell in his body. The pain must be excruciating. The suffering he's endured throughout this matchup.
Come on, let me stop him. What do you think?
Kyle O'Reilly trying to block out the pain, continue to fight, crawl and scratch like he has for 15 years, and gets to the bottom rope. Hats off, Wade. Hats off to Kyle O'Reilly.
Incredible resilience from the man, but at what cost? What is it all going to be for in the end? This man can barely defend himself at this point.
Balor.
Let's not forget, you're in there with one of the absolute best, Finn Balor.
You see the crimson on the lips of Kyle O'Reilly, still clutching at his midsection.
And Finn Balor grasping at his knee as he is looking down at Kyle O'Reilly. What a battle this has been.
No. Come on, out that corner, Balor.
And I do this every night. This is no problem for me.
Back it up.
What do you say?
Yeah.
Kyle.
Almost uncomfortable now as Balor continues to beat down the challenger, and the referee's gonna have to use his discretion because the question, Wade, when does the official save the superstar from himself? There will be no quit in the body or the heart of Kyle O'Reilly tonight.
Let me be clear to you, if a championship was not on the line right now, the referee would already have ended this one, but somehow, some way, Kyle O'Reilly fighting back. Again, the gut shot, taking all the stuffing out of it.
Kick to the midsection, followed by a kick to the knee, stop to the back, forward by O'Reilly. Oh, a Pele kick by the champion. O'Reilly rocked. Lariat answered back. Both superstars down. This is what it means to be the NXT champion on a night that we have shown the history of this industry, the game-changing ability in this history. What about this championship matchup?
And what about this run?
Kyle O'Reilly stumbling into that clothesline against Finn Balor. It might actually have helped him. I think it caught him across the temple as opposed to the chest where he was aiming.
What a matchup right now. And you got to think, guys, it's got to be about more will than skill at this point. Who is going to have that knockout blow? O'Reilly delivers a kick right to the chest. How is the challenger standing? The abuse that Kyle O'Reilly has endured throughout this championship matchup. And again, O'Reilly this time gets caught by Balor. Balor across the face. O'Reilly may be out. Balor hooking up, looking for that 1916. O'Reilly able to counter. Balor able to shift his weight back to his feet. Guillotine! Guillotine! Wade, the guillotine is locked in.
Squeezing the oxygen out of Finn Balor. This could be a knockout right here.
The champion bet is fading. But wait a minute. charging back in. Front face lock, looking for a suplex. Hit the brain buster. Float over, cover, count, title on the line, and Balor kicks out. O'Reilly, though, transitioning into the armbar.
Finn Balor, fortunately for him, has this one blocked. You see those two arms linked as we see Kyle O'Reilly desperately trying to break those hands apart and extend the left arm of Finn Balor.
That's the arm that
extended the elbow.
That is the arm Kyle O'Reilly was focusing on early on in the matchup. But look at Kyle O'Reilly trying to use his legs to break the grip of Finn Balor. Balor holding on with literally one finger. Kyle O'Reilly breaks the hold. Champion's in trouble. Armbar almost on, and Balor able to roll through, use his own momentum, and now stomping away on the challenger. Both these superstars, where are they getting this from?
You have to say, Kyle O'Reilly fighting back from that liver shot and somehow not only still being in the fight, but at times being on top against Finn Balor is quite remarkable.
Balor again to the lower back of Kyle O'Reilly. Balor again, another forearm shot. And now, it's Finn Balor trying to hook up O'Reilly. Could he be looking for that 1916? Connects. Cover, hook of the leg. And Kyle O'Reilly somehow, some way, kicks out.
That was muscle memory kicking out for Kyle O'Reilly. He knows nothing about it right now as we take another look at the impact here. Everything being thrown down on that liver midsection area of Kyle O'Reilly, somehow kicking out.
What a championship main event here at NXT TakeOver 31, as now Finn Balor could be looking to climb all the way to the top. Looking down on Kyle O'Reilly.
Look at the positioning of Kyle O'Reilly.
Oh, Kyle O'Reilly getting back to his feet. Sense that possibly that coup de grace could be coming, but O'Reilly is spent back. Kyle O'Reilly has left it all in the ring.
This is gut check time for Kyle O'Reilly. This is the difference maker between challengers and champions.
Oh, dragon screw over the top rope. Let's not forget, Balor's left knee throughout this matchup has been a focal point of Kyle O'Reilly's. O'Reilly again, sensing this could be his moment. A second time. Kyle O'Reilly's offensive game plan now, Wade, it's pretty simple. Chop down Balor.
Well, Balor has had a full body workout from Kyle O'Reilly so far, but right now the bullseye is on that left leg.
Into the chest of Finn Balor goes Kyle O'Reilly. And now it's Kyle O'Reilly trying to transition. Somehow, Kyle O'Reilly is pulling himself up to the top rope. 15 years of sacrifice for this moment. Knee to knee, and now the knee bar, back center of the ring. Beth, it's a heel hook.
The Achilles lock, driving that Achilles tendon into the bone, looking to dismantle the tendons in Finn Balor's leg, ankle, and knee.
Balor trying to fight free. Kyle O'Reilly transitioning Wade back around into another heel hook.
Beautiful transition from the BJJ expert Kyle O'Reilly, and look at the face of Finn Balor. Pain etched all over it. Desperation, heel shots.
And both legs now hooked by Kyle O'Reilly. There's nowhere for the champion to go. Balor center of the ring. Is Finn Balor going to tap out? Beth, are we going to see Balor tap in his first title defense?
The saddle heel hook locked in tight, rotating the tibia in the knee, and Balor out of desperation, slugging away at O'Reilly.
And Balor went back to the midsection, but somehow Wade, Kyle O'Reilly is blocking out the pain for the right to be called champion.
Once again, another transition from Kyle O'Reilly, and what on earth does Finn Balor have to do now to escape this hold?
Is O'Reilly going to do it? Is Balor going to tap? Are we going to have a new NXT champion here at NXT TakeOver 31? Balor to the bottom rope. He's so close. Scratching, clawing. Balor, is he going to tap? Balor with the bottom rope in his sights. And Finn Balor gets to the bottom rope to break the hold.
But guys, what damage could possibly have been done to the delicate tendons of the knee? Balor was in that for an eternity.
NXT Universe rallying both these superstars. What a championship matchup this has been. And Kyle O'Reilly trying to think about all those long drives, all those flights. And O'Reilly chopping in now. Kyle O'Reilly feeding off the NXT Universe.
There's a lot of things to have been impressed by with Kyle O'Reilly tonight. None more so than no matter what predicament he has found himself, he's always been thinking, he's always been coming up with strategies on how to continue. And that strike to the knee of Finn Balor completely took him down.
And Balor now off that distraction. Oh, off that moment hesitation, excuse me. Able to open the door. Double foot stomp to the liver, to the midsection of Kyle O'Reilly. And now Balor with the challenger in his sights.
Balor can't stand up.
O'Reilly trying to rise, as is Balor. Balor with the knee. O'Reilly sensing it. O'Reilly charging in. High knee. German suplex. Balor. Double foot stomp again. Where in the hell are these two getting this from? First to his feet. And it's Balor trying to pull himself up. And Balor now bleeding from the mouth as well. Kyle O'Reilly's not moving. Balor perched up high. Coup de grace. And Balor got all the coup de grace to retain his NXT title. And Finn Balor puts away Kyle O'Reilly.
And still the NXT champion, Finn
Finn Balor might have a broken jaw here. What a war of attrition between these two superstars, giving it everything they've got for the NXT Universe in pursuit of that, the big one, the NXT Championship. And still, your champion, the Prince, Finn Balor.
But Beth, we can take nothing away from Kyle O'Reilly.
You know, boxing great Oscar De La Hoya was crumpled to the mat, never beat the count after a strike to the liver, and Kyle O'Reilly persisted for the length of this matchup. What a performance, what a breakout performance for Kyle O'Reilly.
Let's go back to some of the action in this highly intense championship match. And that kick to the midsection really changed the night for Kyle O'Reilly.
There's one more moment. Finn Balor taking advantage of the strike to the liver, which would drop Kyle O'Reilly.
And then Kyle O'Reilly would drop Finn Balor with that brainbuster center of the ring. Finn Balor able to kick out. Kyle O'Reilly, though, tenacious as they come tonight, able to try to counter into a cross arm breaker. Balor hitting the 1916. We all thought Balor would retain. Kyle O'Reilly, Beth, would continue to fight.
There was no quit in Kyle O'Reilly tonight. You see here, putting caution to the wind with a devastating knee across the collarbone and chest of Finn Balor. O'Reilly would follow it up, looking for victory in this moment, Vic.
A knee under the jaw, rocking the champion, a German suplex, but Balor doing Finn Balor things, being able to roll through the pain and answer back, and then would hit the exclamation point, the coup de grace from the top to the liver, to the midsection of Kyle O'Reilly, and Finn Balor would retain his title.
Let me tell you, watching the abuse these two superstars have exerted on each other's body make me happy that I now sit in this broadcast booth. I could not have done what these two have done to each other tonight. They are going to be hurting for a long, long time, but it's going to hurt Kyle O'Reilly more because Finn Balor somehow, some way retains.
respect from champion to challenger, and it's no doubt Kyle O'Reilly is a secret no more. That's Ridge Holland.
That's Adam Cole.
Adam, where do we go? Get some medical out here. Adam, are you okay? Kyle, are you okay?
What happened here?
You all right, dude? Cole, you all right, man? Get someone out here!
What the? I didn't see it. You didn't see it.
Yeah, what happened, Finn?
What the hell happened to him?
Did you see it? Did you see it?